Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So, we got a countdown today for our new event, quotation marks, and you can obviously see here that the turtles are coming back. I know some people are probably a little bit, oh wow, the turtles are coming back. But this has got to be the dumbest thing I've seen in a gacha game. Like, I'm actually going as far to say that this is probably the dumbest thing I've seen in a gacha game ever. Now, I'm just going to reiterate to you why I think this is the dumbest thing ever. The Turtles event ended the last week of May. I actually think it finalised at the start of June, the very, very start of June, right? So we're only 4 months removed from that. Now, again, some people will probably say, oh, but I never got a chance to get them done, right? Which, honestly, I get, okay? I get that you might think it's actually quite a good thing, okay? But this is something I've covered extensively in different videos in the past, and I think it's quite important that I reiterate it just now, right? So, you guys are probably well aware of how this industry works, and if you're a free-to-play player who's currently right now sitting thinking, oh great, I'm going to have a chance to pick these turtles up and I'll be able to get them up to SS, because let's be honest, or SSS, sorry, let's be honest, anyone who's got half a brain has probably been using their Starlight to pump these guys up a little bit, right? You got maybe between 6 to 8 copies of the units during the event. You got Starlight between now and then. So honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of you, if not most of you, have maybe one of these guys at Triple S, maybe a couple of these guys at Double S, that type of thing, okay? So during this next event, you're going to potentially get them done, and I can see why for you, you're absolutely delighted by that, and fair play, it's a very valid takeaway, right? But I hate saying this, but it's true, the game's not made for you, right? As bad as that sounds, right, it's not. The way that this industry works, and it's what I don't like about this industry, and I've gone over it in videos before, this industry doesn't care about you. This industry cares about the whales who are going to spend money, right? Because at the end of the day, that's the only way these games can actually run and these can actually operate, right? They want the people who spend money to spend money, right? Now, this game released this collab just over 3 months ago, 4 months ago, whatever it was, right? This game also, during that period, recorded its highest upturn in revenue. Now, what does that tell us? That tells us that the people who do spend money, spent money back then, okay? They're not going to spend money now. Now, they might try and do some bullshit that they done the last time, where when they brought back Dante and Virgil, they made the grant. At the end of it, you could choose to have a box, and you could have bought summon tickets, or you could have got the unit, right? They might do something like that again, but even then, that's what, $35, $40 or something like that. So if you're only able to tap your whales up for $35, $40, you're not going to make money, right? Simple facts, you're not. There was an argument for the DMC, okay, because there would have potentially been maybe a decent amount of players who could have joined between DMC not being a thing and DMC coming back, right? That's not the case with the Turtles. It's 100% not the case. We've not had an influx of players. There's not a whole bunch of Street Fighter Duel players who are sitting just now who were not playing the game when the Turtles came out. Most people who wanted the Turtles, if they spent money, they got the Turtles. If they were someone who was on the fence, by the time they seen how well the Turtles were performing, they went in hard and they got themselves the Turtles, okay? So the pool of money that's available to them is next to nothing for this rerun, okay? People can argue with that all they want. Just wait until the Sensor Tower reports come out and you'll see that I'm right. This is not going to make any money. Why is that important? That's important because they know that. Okay, they know that. They know that they are not going to make a lot of money out of this, okay? Now, that to me suggests they're only running this because they've not got any other choice, okay? And I don't mean because of contractual obligations or anything like that. I simply mean that they are going to burn through the content, right? Now, I'm not going to say anything about a 3-letter word because I can't be bothered with all the arseholes starting all their crap, right? But I've said in the past that constant reruns and rehashing old content, it's not a good thing, right? Typically, it's the sign of something, but hey, that's what it is. Since we had the Turtles, we had Bison, we had a rerun of the DMC collab. We had Cammy, who's, apart from Bison, the only new unit we've had within that period. And then we had Luke, who, yes, he was a new unit, but his event was quite literally a reskin of another event. All the bosses had been used before, all the stages had been used before. They literally took an event, slapped a new coat of paint on it, and it was literally the same event. People have said for ages all our events are copy pastes. The format was copy pasted, but the content wasn't, right? You had new bosses, you had new stages, you had new puzzles and all that type of stuff. The Look event was literally a copy paste, but they changed the look of it, okay? So in that 4-month period, okay, we've had 2 new bits of content, okay? We've had the Cammy event and we've had the Bison event. So in a 4-month period, that's what we've had. Now what's also happened within that period that I think some of you will have noticed now, but I know some of you hadn't noticed because someone in my factional Discord had thought there was still possibly going to be maintenance today or whatever. There's not. Since Look, they've also stealthily increased the distance between events, okay? So they have, instead of having a 2-week delay between events, we've now got a 3-week delay between events, okay? Between the DMC collab, I think it was, or was it Cammy? One of the two of them. Between that ending, and it was Cammy. Between Cammy ending and Look starting, there was a 3-week break. At that point, thought maybe it was a one-off. Who knows? Then, after Look ended, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, countdown for the Turtles, and now the Turtles are going to come back, okay? So, they've stealthily made it so that we have got a 3-week countdown between events, okay? A 3-week delay, which lessens the number of events they need to put out, okay? Also, unless they drastically change something about this event format, this is 2 reruns, right? They might clump everything all together. They might, we don't know that yet, okay? But, I mean, did they say anything here about putting it all together? Does it say all the Turtles? Once a player, I play the game, okay. It said, mentioned something before that made it seem like both parts. Oh, there you go. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series has 2 episodes. When the second episode ends, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will be converted into gems. So they're still doing this as 2 parts. So we already know this is going to be 2 reruns. It's not just going to be 1 rerun of no content. It's going to be 2 reruns of no content. And they know they're not going to make money out of this, right? They're not. The only reason they would do this is if they have no ideas, okay? If they're short on content. And again, I'm not doom mongering. I'm just stating a fact. If you look at how things have gone, they've extended the amount of time between events, reducing the number of events they have to make. In a 4-week period, they've already run a collab, they've rehashed an event and stuck a new coat of paint on it. So in a 4-week period, we actually genuinely only got 2 periods of content, okay, when we should have got 4. Now, they're rerunning 2 events that are only a couple of months old. That's unheard of. People, they don't do that, right? Extremely popular gachas who have lots and lots of new players might sometimes maybe do one 6 months, maybe do one a year later, okay? But usually what they do with a collab rerun is they add something new. Like, if right now they were desperately needing to rerun this, if they had decided to put their hands in their pocket, went to Nickelodeon, Paramount, I think it's the same company anyway, if they'd went to them and says, okay, we want to rerun this event, we're going to license Shredder and we're going to license Splinter, and if in the part 1 rerun you got Shredder, and if in the part 2 rerun you got Splinter, it would still be a rerun, it still wouldn't be great, but it would still be better than what they're doing, their format of doing reruns, okay? Now, a pretty telling thing is they're doing this, but they haven't rerun Monster Hunter Ken. Now, some people might think, well, they've probably done that because it's a more expensive license or stuff like that. It's not. I'll tell you right now why they've not rerun Monster Hunter Ken, right? Monster Hunter Ken did not have an event. It didn't. Some people will say, oh, it had a raid. The raid wasn't an event, right? They could get away with that back then because everybody was a new player, everybody still had the story mode to do, everybody was busy, okay? So you didn't need an event for Monster Hunter Ken. You could do just a raid, okay? Now the game is structured in such a way that we need an event when a new unit comes. So if they actually were to rerun Monster Hunter Ken, they would have to develop a new event. And right now it's looking like they don't have ideas to develop enough events. People are going to come back and they're going to say, oh, but I mean, in the files we can see that there's going to be a new rose. Aye, fantastic, there's going to be a new rose. But if they're going to do this, then do rose, then do another one of this, right? That's going to take us to Christmas. That's going to take them 2 months away from the 2-year anniversary, which originally, whether he can be held to it or not, a former community manager said was what was being targeted for this game. So if that is the plan, they only need to develop 2 more units. And they don't even need to develop 2 more units because they've still got units. They've still got these unreleased Chinese units. They've still got your Yakuza Kens. They've still got your bathtub sauna Honda, whatever the hell he is. You know, there's a few other ones. There's like 4 left still. They've got units. Balrog, I still think Balrog's going to end up being in a special summon unit. I just don't see a reality where he's not a special summon unit. I just don't know what they're doing here. I really don't. You're going to have a whole bunch of players that honestly are going to have nothing to do, which again, some people might think, oh, cry more, but think about it logically, right? If you're a whale, which is what they rely on, if you've got nothing to do, if the event structure is going to be giving you a bunch of green tickets that are ultimately, let's be honest, not much use to you, other than summoning, getting a couple of dupes of a unit, and then trading that in for a divination unit who, if you're a hardcore whale, you probably got them done anyway. What are you going to do? You're going to start maybe deciding, maybe I'll not log in today, maybe I'll not log in the next day. And what I'll say is, from experience, and I've done this myself, part of playing these games is fun, but a larger part is habit, right? You're used to logging in, you do it all the time, okay? It becomes a habit. I've been many times where something's happened in a game, there's been a lot of downtime, there's been nothing to do, and I've not logged in for a day, then I've not logged in for another day, then I've not logged in for another day, and then quickly I realise, you know what, why am I even bothering to log in? And I just don't log back in. And I just think that this is a mistake. I genuinely do, right? Because again, the only players this is going to benefit is free to play, and I'm happy for free to play. Okay, I am happy for free to play. Don't get me wrong. This is not me saying that free to play players shouldn't be able to get these units. I mean, it's great for you guys. Okay, we're probably going to have everyone having a team of turtles now, because let's be honest, you're going to get enough copies, right? But my point stands that ultimately, when it comes to the longevity of a game, it's the money. That's essentially what makes the wheels turn, what keeps the lights on, what keeps the servers running, which keeps the game going. And if you are choosing to run content that's not going to make you any money, the only reason you would do that is if you do not have enough ideas to fill that space naturally with new content. And again, I know we've got Rose, okay? There could be reasons for this. There could be, maybe they're not designing units fast enough, maybe Capcom are not approving them fast enough, whatever. I honestly don't know, and I don't want to speculate, but all I'm saying is, if you willingly choose to do a rerun 4 months after it comes out, your most financially beneficial rerun that you know you made bank on, which tells you you're not going to make the same amount of money again, even remotely close, because the people who were willing to spend did spend, and there's no reason for them to spend now. All I'm saying is, you're in a losing situation, you're not going to do well, okay? Some people might say, oh, but Hayzink, what about those whales that maybe only got the units to SSS free or whatever? They'll spend money. No, they won't. They don't have to, because you know what? They're going to get the rest of the copies through the event. There's no upside here for the company. I don't understand why they're doing this. Literally, the only reason that they would opt to do this is if they do not have enough ideas to fill content between now and the 2-year anniversary. I'm not predicting, I don't want this crap coming back at me that I'm predicting EOS and all the rest of it, because I'm not. And a lot of what I'm saying just now, if you go back and actually watch the video where I said I was worried, again, I never actually said the game was going to shut, but if you go back and watch that video, one of the things I said is rerunning content, rehashing content is not a good thing. We need to see a continual run of new units. And I've not mentioned it for a while because honestly, I didn't really think about it again. But if you actually weigh up what we've had, okay, what we've got, and what we've got going forward, we've had a hell of a lot of rerun content. Yes, we've had new Poison, we've had new Sakura, but they were not event units. I mean, honestly, maybe it's just because they weren't good enough, but if I was a company like Topjoy and I was desperate for content and I had made these new units, I would have probably made them a little bit stronger and made them special summon units so that we could have events, because that is how this game is structured. Now, instead, what we've got is a situation where we've got longer delays between events, we've got rerunning of events where the loop of this game is now summon a unit, do an event, get more tickets, summon the next unit, do an event, so on, so forth. They're not introducing things like increased tower levels, they're not introducing things like new modes to try. I mean, sure, you can argue it's been that way for the longest time, and you know what, in hindsight, it has. Someone on my last video, or one of my last videos, said this is a character collection game. That is all they saw this game as now. Like, the content to the developers is characters. We should be happy. That is your content. There is characters. Be happy. You don't need anything else. Doing this, they're not even doing that. They're just giving you the same thing that you've already had. And I wouldn't be shocked if they change the character growth packs, because if they keep the character growth packs the same, it's even worse. Because if they keep the character growth packs the same, every free turtle you got from that character growth pack, you're going to get it again immediately as soon as you start, which again decreases the amount of turtles you need to finish them. You're also going to then have your turtles you get from the event. No one's going to spend money here. It is what it is. No one's going to spend money. People can come back, they can argue, they can fight, they can say what they want. I'll tell you now, you're wrong. I'm willing to die on that hill, you're wrong. This is not going to make any money. And the fact that they know this, because they do, they know this, right? Tells me that they've got no ideas. They've got no ideas about what they're going to continue to put out for content for this game. I don't know what else to say. I just think this is a really stupid move, and I get being happy about it if you're free to play, but I just think it's quite short-sighted, because you're obviously not understanding the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is these games need to make money. If they do not make money, they are cutthroat as hell. They will just shut them down. And if they already know potentially that, so what, we've got 2 years, we're only going to run to the 2-year mark, then that's it. Someone said that worked for the company, we were speculating way back, maybe in year 2, when we're doing year 2, the game will get a bit more free-to-play friendly. And this person said, actually, if the game gets more free-to-play friendly, I would say that that's a negative sign, not a positive sign, because if a company is making money, if the game's doing well and the game is strong, why would they change their model? Why would they start being less expensive? Why would they start doing things for free to play? And they said, not me, they said back then, if everything starts going like really good for the free to play players, I would actually worry that that was a sign the game was shutting down more than the game was thriving. And loads of people on that Discord conversation chimed in and said, I absolutely agree. So that is not me saying that, that is anecdotal. And I'm literally just saying a conversation that took place on the Discord, and people completely agreed with that sentiment. And while this is great for free-to-play players, again, it's not going to make any money. It's not going to make the company any money. It's not going to keep the lights on. So I don't see it as a net positive, especially with the fact that just literally going by the tickets. Unless they're extremely lazy, which we know they are, right? They could just be extremely lazy and they've not bothered to take that out, and they're just going to amalgamate it all into one part. But the fact that it expressly states on the tickets still it's going to be 2 parts, you should run with what you read, and based on what we read, it's going to continue to be 2 parts. I honestly, I just think it's the dumbest shit I've ever seen, and it's way too soon for this, and I just don't think it's a positive sign. Have at me, do what you want, I don't care. I really don't care anymore, because I'm just trying to be transparent and be honest. I'm not spending money on this game anymore because I've just not got the confidence in it. I've not. Say what you will, I don't care, but I'm just telling you, this is not good. It's really not good. Anyway guys, I've been Hayzink. I know you don't like these videos, but hey ho, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.